Hello there. Welcome to your program, Security Reports, where we get you informed, educated, enlightened, and most importantly, updated on security issues anywhere it is happening. I remain yours and only, Ernest Enuneku.
And I remain Shirley Daniels.
All right, we are here actually at Jaji in Kaduna State. If you can see behind me, we are here at the headquarters of the Infantry Corps Center here in Jaji, Kaduna State. Now, actually, we have three important events holding here today. Holding here this week, the Chief of Army Staff Conference will be holding here in Jaji.
The first one for the year.
The first for the year 2019. Now, the Nigerian Infantry also will be having their own conference here, also in Jaji. And the third event would be the commissioning of some major projects that the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukusu Buratai, actually constructed here in Jaji, giving this place a facelift.
I think he has done a whole lot, But as the program goes on, we are going to bring you most of the reports soon.
But rest assured that subsequent edition of this program, next week edition, will be bringing you a lot of what will happen here in Jaji throughout this period. Now, we'll be starting today's program with Nigerian Army Women's Corps. Last week they had their training week.
It was a bomb, Ernest. It was a bomb.
And I tell you, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukusu Buratai, was there himself, the principal of all principal officers and senior army officers, both serving and retired, were all there.
Ernest, I think let's not just do the talking. Let's just bring the report so that people could see what the Nigerian Army Women Corps is all about.
The Nigerian Army Women's Corps, an integral part of the military architecture of the Nigerian Army, with a vision of repositioning the female officers and soldiers to aspire to the peak of their chosen careers, competing favorably with their male counterparts, without recourse to their physiological and psychological nature, which many see as a limitation to their performance as combatant soldiers, especially in the front line, protecting the territorial integrity and internal security of Nigeria. The Corps, which is a creation of the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukusu Buratai, in March 2018, have continued to perform remarkably well to the admiration of all, especially their role in the just concluded 2019 general election that has been adjudged by many to be one of the most peaceful elections in the history of Nigeria. 1 year after its creation, the Nigerian Army Women's Corps is organizing its maiden training week with the theme Building the Fighting Capacity of the Nigerian Army Female Personnel for enhanced support of the Nigerian Army operational engagements. The training week was basically aimed at, among others, to better reposition the female officers and soldiers to have a clear understanding of the task ahead of them, open their eyes to opportunities that would help them get to the peak of their chosen careers, meet with other female officers that have distinguished themselves in the business of keeping Nigeria safe from internal and external aggressors, cross-fertilizing ideas, present challenges faced by the Corps in the last 1 year, and more importantly, profess solutions to identify challenges for better policy making and implementations. The opening ceremony had in attendance the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukusu Buratai, principal officers of the Nigerian Army. The special guest of honor was the Governor of Plateau State, Simeon Lalong, represented by the Deputy Governor, Professor Sonny Tiondin, and other senior military personnel, both serving and retired. The commander, Nigerian Army Women's Corps, Brigadier General Priye Frakoga, welcomed guests and participants to the event, which was quickly followed up with a keynote address by the Chief of Army Staff, who later declared the event open.
I am glad to report that pursuant of our mission, which is derived from the vision of the Chief of Army Staff, we have overtaken far-reaching steps in addressing some of the critical concerns with respect to our female personnel. It is instructive to note that we have impacted significantly in this capacity building of our female personnel, as demonstrated in their engagements. We have achieved a lot, but we are still marching on. Some of our achievements are as follows. We took part at the Nigerian Army Day Celebration 2018 at Mongonu, Borno State. We took part at the 58th Independence Anniversary Parade and had an all-female guard, the first of its kind in the history of Nigerian Army. We took part in the just concluded Operation Safe Conduct in the general elections. 3 of our officers were among the first 10 in the last lieutenant to captain practical promotion examination. These and several other achievements of the Corps are the outcome of brainstorming sessions such as this. To state that achievements have discernibly impacted Nigerian Women Corps and the Nigerian Army as a whole would be an understatement. However, despite these achievements, a major impediment to the success of our operations remained the dearth of well-trained female officers and soldiers. We are thus seeking the additional billets for professional and staff training of female personnel in relevant military training institutions.
The Nigerian Army Women's Corps concept was born out of the need to harness the potentials of the female officers and soldiers of the Nigerian Army to build a force ready to support all our operations and engagements. Events at this period in the development of our country have shown the imperatives of constantly improving our security apparatus, which is one of the major policy plans of this administration of President Muhammadu Buhari. They buttress the need to get all hands on deck, irrespective of gender, and strengthen the security of our beloved country. This calls for adequate training and indeed provision of facilities and fashioning out of strategies to improve the fighting efficiency of all military units and formations. The dynamics of Nigerian Army operations in this dispensation are such that the female personnel cannot be left behind. They are vital to the attainment of Nigerian Army operational objectives, especially in the Northeast, where women and girls involved in insurgency are either victims or villains, require specific female attention. There is no gainsaying the fact that there are some military operations, such as psychological operations, in which the female officers and soldiers, by their gender, excel over men. The Nigerian Army is said to take advantage of this unique nature of the female personnel. However, in order to effectively fulfill this requirement, the female personnel need to be brought up to speed through deliberate training to build their fighting capacity and competencies. Let me make it clear that the Nigerian Army Women Corps is faced with daunting challenges ahead. Prominent among these challenges is the requirement for effective training of its personnel. To surmount its challenges, it is imperative for the Nigerian Army Women Corps to develop unique ways of conducting personnel training using global best practices. This training week is one of such initiatives. I call on all present to be very generous with their thoughts on the best approach to the training that will yield the best benefits to the female personnel, the Nigerian Army, and indeed the nation as a whole. On this note, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellency, I congratulate the Corps Commander of the Nigerian Army Women Corps for putting this maiden training week together. He has worked tirelessly throughout the last 2-3 weeks to ensure that we gather today. Well done, Corps Commander. On this note, it is my singular honor and privilege to declare the first ever Nigerian Army Women's Corps Training Week open. Thank you and God bless.
The first paper presentation was by Major General A. Oyebade, Commandant, Nigerian Defense Academy, on effective staff and competent training of female personnel, panacea to professional efficiency.
Female soldiers have been trained to help combat the scourge of terrorism, especially suicide bombing that have been carried out largely by young girls. Boko Haram deployed its first female suicide bomber in an attack on military barracks in Gombe in June 2014. And since then, it has far outstripped any previous terrorist group's deployment of female suicide terrorists, whether religious or secular. As of February 28, 2018, a recorded 469 female suicide bombers have been deployed or arrested in over 240 incidents. Almost 3,000 more people have been injured across the country as a result of female suicide bombers. Given the above figures and analysis, and the fact that Boko Haram terrorists target girls for kidnapping, it is laudable that the Nigerian Army Women Corps is clearly part of the responses of Nigerian Army to defeat terrorism. Studies have shown that women can hold their ground during training and military operations. For example, in the Nigerian Defense Academy, the capabilities of most female cadets in training shows that they are fit for combat roles. Records of endurance and obstacle competition have shown that female cadets have continued to perform creditably well in these areas. Thus, it is clear that all the worries or the ability of women to endure combat training may be, after all, baseless. In addition, training of women in Nigerian Defense Academy as combatants will further enhance the Nigerian Army's capacity to deal with the ongoing terrorism in the northeast of Nigeria and other security challenges throughout the country by winning the hearts and minds of the populace and address critical issues pertaining to women in the conflict zones.
After a well-delivered paper, a panel of discussants was set up to further deliberate on the topic to ensure a proper understanding and more insight into the presented paper.
If at any point we think women should be able to play a significant role in the infantry armor, then even in the training process, in the academy, in depot, the wall, you should not put one side for female, one side for male. The ditch, one side for, no. So that any female that meets the requirement that a male officer or soldier meets, then she could be deployed as such.
When we stay in our offices, if the bankers want to get our account, either personal or unit account, they unleash their female staff to us. I think if we want to have information about the ringleaders of all the troubled peoples, Boko Haram, herdsmen, we have to prepare these women I'm seeing here so that we can unleash you there and you go and get us information about them.
On hand to deliver the second paper was Major General Amosun, retired, a female officer who served her fatherland with passion and dedication and rose to the peak of her career. General Amosun presented a paper on overcoming barriers to effective female leadership and decision-making in the Nigerian Army.
I must admit that we have some bad eggs who give female leaders a bad reputation, and they continue to be a barrier. Though not as many as the good, this group tend to be used as examples to those who want to prevent women from taking up leadership roles, and that deters others from being given such opportunities. So some women, of course, we should admit, are inherently lazy, and rather than put in an effort, would want to rely on gender vacancies or sexuality for favors. And when these favors result in higher responsibilities, then they find that they are unable to cope. And that, of course, causes a ripple effect, which would deny other females of such an opportunity in future. The lack of suitable and willing female mentors. The inadequate number of suitable and female mentors continues to be a barrier to effective female leadership in the Nigerian Army. It is therefore important that every female in the Nigerian Army now sees herself as a role model You cannot be successful and throw away the ladder. A candle loses nothing by lighting another candle. Rather, the whole room becomes brighter.
She further stressed that the female officers and soldiers of the Nigerian army can break the glass ceilings by bringing pride to themselves, their families, the Nigerian army, and Nigeria as a nation. Her paper was further discussed by a group of panelists.
You can't speak about something you have not thoroughly researched, something you are not on top of. The chief of staff cannot call you to come and brief him and you're stuttering because you don't know the facts, because you don't have your facts at your fingertip. That's inexcusable. Being a woman does not in any way mean that you should not be at the top of your game. You should actually be better, because that's like being a black person in a white world. If you find yourself in the United Nations and you're the only black person, of course they're expecting when they call Nigeria and the microphone comes on, they're expecting you to stutter, and then you come, you make sense. You will see the lineup of people waiting to congratulate you at the end of the meeting, which means they were not expecting you to make sense.
Sitting here, you can feel the subtle resistance from people who are at high places to gender issues, especially the participation of women in this critical area. It's just 1 year. It's natural to resist, but I think we should do well to see how we can overcome our resistance. Our resistance is a barrier to the women who are holding positions. General had talked about women aspiring to be leaders, because we've been told that women are not yet occupying positions to be able to command the core. It means you owe the women a lot. Then I also look at leadership by example. We need concerted leadership so that you can show that we mean what we are saying. We are not just mouthing it. So you demonstrate it by everything that you possess.
The man in charge of operations and training, Nigerian Army, Major General L.O. Adeosun, presented the third paper titled Changing the Attitude of the Nigerian Army Female Personnel to Combat Training, a field where he has gathered experience over the years.
Depot combat training already in place will in no small measure serve this purpose, and training assistance from partner countries with similar experiences will be utilized in addition to other efforts towards enhancing the capacity of our female personnel. We just must also sustain the post-depot combat training. This training is gradually getting into the sensibilities of new female recruits on the anticipated roles they are expected to play during the course of their career. If I can flash our mind back to the clip yesterday, you could see what training brings out from soldiers, from troops, from officers and soldiers. They say training is the best welfare you can give to a soldier. Those crop of women at that mode yesterday at their highest peak, they can turn mountain to flat floor if necessary, because of the high level of training, the high level of morale that training brings into their system. Female personnel is an integral part of the Nigerian Army, and they have responsibilities to complement their male counterparts, both in combat support and services roles. Not minding the age-long wrong belief that combat role are exclusive preserve of men, experience has shown since the advent of women involvement in combat that combat or any hard job is not an exclusive preserve of the male folk alone, whether in the military or outside the military.
A panel of discussants was also set up to further analyze the paper.
The presenter brought out a key issue on some restrictions by way of Army headquarters policy that females should be placed on limited IS operations for 3 months. I want to believe that subsequently this policy may have to be reviewed. It may, because the women are agitating that they should be given equal platform with their male counterpart. If we start by telling them they are going to stay 3 months, the male counterparts are doing 6 months. It's already double standard, and I don't think it will augur well for their own combat involvement in training.
The debate about whether it's appropriate or not in deploying women in combat. That debate about whether to train women in combat is either weak or is totally not existing. But the problem is female attitude to training.
The last paper for the training week was presented by Commodore P.C. Amechina, retired, on women in the military, creating a balance.
Simple household runs and chores can present challenges for a woman who has little or no control over her work hours, duty posts, or location. She is therefore reduced to being both an absentee wife and mother. It is traumatic for a mother to, as it were, be forced away from her family on account of work for usually unpredictable periods, the end of which cannot be foretold. In more than one instance, absence from home was elongated by successive postings that did not take cognizance of marital status or location of the woman's family. It is no wonder, therefore, that a significant percentage of women in uniform are hardly able to keep their marriages. If we must be honest with ourselves, some of us are Mrs. Somebody, but the somebody is missing. But we are still the Mrs. Somebody. That is the truth. You see, you are a Mrs., but you know within you that your marriage has broken down. It is not working. At times, you are saddled with taking care of the children. The man just carries his portmanteau and takes a walk, and that is it. You are stranded. You are now caught between being a mother to your children that have been abandoned and being the officer that you should be.
The training week program gave opportunities for questions and contributions from participants that would help in policy making and implementations.
We have not put into consideration all that we're talking about. Retraining and retraining. We've not talked about, integrating the spouses of the female soldier or officer.
I'm even advocating that 5 years they are twin, but my sister here said let's start with 5 first, then we can gradually. Because by that time you are already settled in your profession. You have already done your basic courses. And my sister that was talking that we don't go on courses. When I was in service, I know my soldiers that would say, okay, put me on mission. I would rather go on mission than to go on course. It's true. And I always tell them, if you go on course, you are open to a lot of prospects in the service. You earn your promotion, your salary increases. The money you are going to go and collect in that mission will finish within 2 months. Because the first thing you do is to buy a car. And that's the end of the story. But when you face your career, you have a career prospect in the army. Do your regular courses, the mandatory courses, and you see yourself. Don't say people will not look for you to marry. When it is your time to marry, somebody will come and meet you, I want to marry you. But if you force somebody to marry you, you will never last in that marriage.
I want to talk about this marriage issue. Okay, the thing no go favor us, we soldiers, female soldiers and officers. If it's even increased to 5 years, it will not favor us. Because even the 3 years where we did now, to even get the husband a problem. Our mates, when are men, some of them don't get 3 children before we even marry. Before you know they don't reach village, they say I don't marry before I join army. What of most of my mates who don't born before they join the army? And as they enter army, they can be their age. So before you know that they don't enter menopause, and you say me that kind of person don't marry before 5 years. Okay, how you go be for that kind of person? Right?
High point of the training week was presentation of awards to deserving female personnel who have distinguished themselves in the last 1 year in different categories. Some of the recipients of the award spoke on the significance of the award and how it will boost their morale.
I feel really great having this award today. At least I can stand in front of my colleagues and tell them that, yes, I'm among one of the best female drivers.
Well, this award really means a lot to me because it's not easy as a woman to be the best female bugler in the Nigerian Army. So I really appreciate and I'm very proud and very happy to be among the best of female bugler in the Nigerian Army.
To be recognized in the front of senior army officers, at least being the best female soldier APC driver, is so encouraging. At least other females out there will take a challenge and they will know that women have stood up to do things that men can also do. So women are now putting in their best to showcase themselves that they are not only the weaker cells, but they can do what the men can also do better. So I'm so happy and I'm proud that the Nigerian Army has recognized me as one of the best female APC driver in the Nigerian Army.
At the end of the program, some of the guests spoke with security reports.
They now have an avenue to channel their problems. It's also an avenue for good things to come to the females. So you'll have more females enjoying benefits and being recognized in their own various fields, more than when it was just a general thing, that it's like they are competing for spaces, for slots with their male counterparts. But this time around, they have been identified and there's an umbrella covering all of them to take care of all of them at the same time.
It means they have come to accept how to integrate concerns of women in the armed forces in Nigeria, which is unprecedented in Africa. And beyond that, if you look at what is happening in politics, we are not doing well. So this is consoling that even as regimented as the armed forces is, great innovation, transformation, changes are taking place. Women are integrated and they are not even satisfied with what they are doing. While we are doing so poorly in politics, this is also a challenge on all other institutions.
Ernest Enuneku, Security Report, Jos, Plateau State.
Welcome back from that report from the Nigerian Army Women Corps. The Nigerian Army Women Corps have actually shown that they can actually do better. You know, the opportunity has been given to them to use to show what they can actually do to the Nigerian Army and then to Nigeria as a whole. Just like their slogan said, you know, what a man can do, a woman can do. But at least they've shown us that.
We must actually give kudos to the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukusu Buratai, for actually kickstarting and starting, giving this Nigerian Army Women's Corps the life it has today.
Exactly.
All right, moving forward, Security Report actually visited Benin City, Edo State. We accompanied the brand new Commissioner of Police, talking about CP Damalam Mohammed.
The 40th Commissioner.
Yes, we also got from that our visit that he is the 40th Commissioner of Police of Edo State.
Visiting.
Yeah, he actually paid a visit to the Oba of Benin.
The 40th Oba of Benin.
Yeah, we also got out to that he is also the 40th Oba of Benin. And this courtesy visit was actually needful. Now the CP had to actually show allegiance to the Oba, to actually show him that he has actually come to serve the state and also to seek his support in carrying out his duty to ensure that Edo State and Edo people sleep with their two eyes closed. Let's get to that courtesy visit now.
I seek your permission to call on the CP Edo State for his speech time. Oba Atope, sir. Oba Atope, sir. Good evening, sir.
His Royal Majesty, the Oba of Benin, the King of the old and greatest kingdom in the sub-Saharan Africa. My Royal Majesty, I'm happy to be here to come and pay homage to you and the other Palestine chiefs of the state. Sir, I'm very happy to be here for a lot of you. One, I'm happy to be in this old Asian city with long history, rich culture, tradition, and civilization. Secondly, I'm happy to inform the Royal Majesty that my wife from Benin City. I was there some 25 years back to seek her hand in marriage, and by the power of God, the girl approved. We are happily married with 3 children. So as you know, our great country, Nigeria, is facing a lot of security challenges, ranging from terrorism to insurgency, the issue of kidnapping, armed robbery, armed banditry, conflict, and others. So the mentioned crime and evil of our time. So the fight against it is the greatest challenge of our generation. That's the reason why we are here to seek. You are blessed, seek, you are praying, so that God will conquer criminals and criminals. Sir, I'm using this opportunity to assure you that I'm in those states to make sure that I checkmate crimes and criminality. I wish to humbly and most respectfully mention some of the modest achievements within the 2 months when I took over the mental leadership of the State Police Command with your permission. So within the period under review, from the month of February when I took over, this month of April, we have cases of armed robbery, murder, attempted murder, kidnapping, rape, violence, cultivating and wrongful possession of firearms, obtained by false offences, stealing, outraging. I want to take it one by one. We recorded 42 cases of armed robbery. We succeeded in arresting 8 suspects. The number of cases we charged was 10. Number of suspects charged against the death of 24. Murder. We recorded 13 cases of murder. We made arrests of 11 suspects. We charged 10 suspects to court. And the number of cases charged was 10. Kidnapping. We recorded cases of 10 cases of kidnapping. We were able to arrested 19 suspects. In case of kidnapping, 5 were charged to court. And 10 suspects are charged to court. Issue of poisoning. So this is one of the disturbing crime in this kingdom. But we made effort to make sure that we curtail the activities of politics in the city We reported 50 cases of poisoning. We are able to arrest 193 suspects. We charged 45 cases of poisoning. We charged 180 suspects of poisoning. So in summary, the total number of cases reported is 151. The total number of suspects arrested 282. The total number of cases charged was 110. The total number of suspects charged was 215. The total number of arms recovered 37 of different calibers. The total number of ammunition of different calibers 153. Sir, with this, I'm giving my word, and I need your support. I need the support of good people in this state to check the activities of criminals. So we can do it. As you know, policing is not only for police. The citizens, they have the civic responsibility to help us in fighting the criminals because they are living in our own midst. Sir, we still need your guidance. We need your prayers so that God Almighty will give us victory over crime and criminality. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. May you live long on this. Sir, for seeking your support and prayers, we have brought scholars and other scholars from Besa so that the job of policy will be much more easier for us.
I want to thank you and members of your entourage on behalf of our chiefs and members of your family here present. I want to thank you immensely for this visit. I want to thank you for your presentation, your commendations and prayers for us. I am indeed impressed that we've been here before and the amount of successes recorded already since February. We do our best, as always, to support the police as well as we have always done. And also, we always support security agencies and good people of Nigeria mean well for the entire country, the state and the entire country. We have heard your analysis of the figures you have shown up now, that what you have achieved in a matter of 2-3 months. We thank you very much. We want to appeal to you to not relent, more grace to your elbow. The Lord God Almighty and our ancestors will continue to bless your efforts and give you an officers and an armed way. There's not much to say at this point other than to assure you that whenever you have any problems, you should consider the parish home as your home. Don't look at it as too much of an official environment. You can make official presentation as well as personal presentation or personal request for your personal welfare as well as welfare of your officers. We keep on appealing to the federal government to please support the effort of the police to beef up the financial support as well as the I'm sure you also will surpass the other successes, and no doubt you will succeed in your tenure. Distinguished Commissioner of Police, you are most welcome. I want to say that there's this issue of criminality, which you also mentioned, the courtesan, the criminal aspect. Matter of courtesan, we are doing our best here. As you recall, sometime last year, we took it very seriously when we addressed the matter of human trafficking. We actually, in our own traditional way, place the cause of those people who have the power of our ancestors, that we don't want things like that on our land, that are making the life unbearable for innocent citizens. Those people that want to continue such antisocial behavior, perhaps they have to direct it at themselves and not innocent citizens. There was this issue, but I think about a year or two ago, I was asking my secretary here what happened to the committee which was set up by the police. Community, was called Community, Police Community Committee. So we here, the palace was supposed to send for some chiefs to be members of that committee to interface with the committee. Police said if they have any problem with the community, whatever we can do here, they will be able to advise. I don't know what happened to it. There have been several changes in the leadership of the police here. So I'm not sure what the status is, but I would like to be advised on what happened to that committee. The committee will be very useful. It will be very useful if it's still effective. If it's not effective, we can reactivate it so that they can look into the possibility of setting up some units of security watch to advise the police regarding information of people people that are not so they are not so nice around the community that the police might need to watch out for, sort of personnel non grata in the community. This committee can work out modalities for setting up units in different local government areas and more. So the Commissioner of Police, you please need to look at that. If it's not active anymore, we can reactivate it and advise us so that we can get away with it again. I think it will be very useful for the police and useful for the community. Thank you very much for coming. I wish you well. Like I said, you're welcome anytime, privately, officially, or otherwise. Thank you very much, Commissioner. Thank you. God bless you all. Thank you.
Welcome back from that report. It was actually necessary for that visit to show the Oba that the CP is ready to ensure that Edo State is safe.
I think they should actually celebrate it. It was a wonderful moment. The 40th Oba of Benin City, 40th Commissioner of Police visiting the 40th Oba of Police. What a wonderful coincidence.
And I must say, because of this coincidence, a lot is expected from the Commissioner of Police. And we have no doubt here in Security Reports that he will actually meet up to that expectation. We are still here at Jaji, at the Infantry Corps headquarters in Jaji. Here, like we said earlier, we'll be having 3 major events, starting with the COAS conference, with the infantry conference, and the commissioning of some major buildings, especially the infantry school that the Chief of Army Staff will be commissioning tomorrow.
Ernest, well, I don't know. I think we have to say kudos to Lieutenant General Tukur Yusuf Buratai for a job well done. You know, he actually fit into that shoe that was left. In fact, I think he has done more than expected of him.
We must state here that across the Federation, General Buratai have been refurbishing, building new infrastructure, ensuring that he actually makes better the Nigerian Army he met 2015. And I tell you today, the Nigerian Army is better for it.
True.
Now, going ahead on the program, during a visit to Edo State, we actually ran into a meeting that was very important. Now, this meeting has to do with social security of the Edo people.
The girl child.
The girl child. It was very important. Now, considering what has been happening recently in terms of human trafficking, deportation of Nigerians from Italy, from Arab nations, and even from Ghana here for varied offenses ranging from prostitution to other serious crimes. Now, the Edo State government, under the SA to the governor on child and women rights, actually went out to sensitize the women on the need to get themselves educated.
Yeah, actually, there is no need to. I don't know, Ernest. It has long. I think this has long been overdue. You know, it's important. I don't think if these girls had the education before now, I don't think most of them will go into prostitution. You know, outside the country, and I think this is going to go a long way in helping them. And now this is not just for the girls, for the girl child. It's actually for also adults. You know, like they said, for the adults are also welcome to join this program, because even if you're going into anything, if you're not that intelligent to cope with education, at least make sure you get to some particular level before you venture into any business of your choice. So the need for education cannot be overly emphasized.
We will also state here that our interest is majorly on the social security of the nation. Train up the girl child, train up the woman, you train a nation. Now, we have to cover this to ensure that we bring to you the need for our girl child and even our women to be educated in order for them not to be deceived by people who take them out to seek greener pasture, thereby using them to make money.
It's so sad, Ernest. But let's get to that report.
The importance of the girl child, a prominent part in procreation, and helps in the molding and remolding of the society, cannot be overemphasized. Today, the girl child is bedeviled by several social vices and cultural impediments ranging from child marriage, sexual abuse and exploitation, rape, defilement, domestic violence, physical abuse, human trafficking, and a lot more. These vices and impediments tend to have derailed the cause of the girl child, depriving her of social security, thereby making her vulnerable and fragile. With the recent deportation of Nigerians from other countries, especially those who engage in commercial sex businesses, which many see as degrading and demoralizing of womanhood, has continued to raise questions on the way forward to curb this ugly trend, thereby redeeming the image of Nigeria as a nation. The Edo State government, under the office of the Special Advisor to the Edo State Governor on Gender Issues, Honorable Efosa Uyegu, is committed to changing the narrative of the girl child as a weaker vessel and pleasure-seeking. Through her awareness campaign on girl child education around the 18 local government areas of the state. Security Report was at Oredo Local Government Council, one of the venues of the awareness campaign aimed at drumming up support for the education of the girl child. Honorable Fosa presses that the education of the girl child is a prerequisite for the liberation of the girl child from whatsoever social vices she is confronted with.
For this country, not be only women that they see for everywhere. If you go church, women that plenty pass. If you go market, now women that plenty pass. If we find better position where you want to put woman, for where they say make them bring book come out, make they take put them, no go see women there again. So now government come talk say e not supposed to be like that o. Make women make they get up now. Use this opportunity wey governor bring come, make women take go school again. Because in school not dey late o. School not dey late o. I think una know say if una go school now, if you go back to, you no go find who go help you look the paper, write am for you. Na only you go write am by yourself. When I reach back sometimes, I will just see girl wey just fine. I dey look and say, this girl sabi something. The next thing wey I go see, the guy go dey find who wan write for am. Hell, I say which kind thing be this one now? As you don find reach like this, you no sabi write, you no do. Wetin dey cause this kind thing? No be sometimes no be the girl fault o. If you be say no fit put am for school, no money. There some of them wey be say they put them for school, they go born. They no feel, the shame no let them go school again. They come their house. Now all those people, all those everybody, when the ones wey never enter school at all, they plenty. Now government come say, okay now, for this state, all the women, both the one where he born o, the one where he no, they no put at all, and the one where don grow finish, wey still wan still learn, make all of them go school, but they no dey pay o, they no na free. And no be the kind school wey be say you go, they go come say you late come, make you come kneel down. That one no dey o. Now this one that they call adult education school. So for this adult education school, me as I be like this so, if I never go school, I go sit down, they teach me. I fit come do primary 6 exam, I fit come do JSS exam. As I dey pass and they go, now say you go take the go up for the school. You know pay o, teacher no dey bother with you say you no quick come. You no stop your market o, you go sit dey do your market. You go tell teacher the time wey you take dey come. Teacher go dey there to teach you. Teacher no go say, you no quick come today, why you no quick come? You no dey. So make we use this opportunity where government bring us so, make we take go school. Alright, don't get plenty adult education center.
Also lending their voices to the campaign of the Girl Child Education was the chairperson of the local government, the Girl Child Ambassador to the Edo State government, and other dignitaries who graced the occasion.
This program is very, very important because when you train your girl child, the young adults, say them feel read and write, naturally they don't get that confidence, say my life was better. So that is why I happy and I appreciate our governor who listen to SH and say this program we must put hand inside. So education will help you to get to that place where you want to go. So even if na tomato you want sell, as person wey go school, you fit read and write. That tomato you go package am, seal and write am tomato from Oredo local government. Package am.
This program will go a long way in reducing social security in Edo State as per helping to bring in these young girls from the streets, help them to bring out their potential so as to reduce the issue of human trafficking in the state, and that will also go a long way in boosting their overall self-confidence, and that will by far go a long way in reducing social security in the state.
The importance of the program to the Edo Girl Child is for them to know how to better their life with or without any man standing behind them, because if there's a slogan that says if you train a woman you are training a nation, and if you train a girl child you are making the world go on.
To ensure a more suitable and secured future, the girl child must be educated to enable her make the right decision that will in turn foster a more peaceful and secured nation. Shirley Daniels, Security Report, Edo State.
We are still here in Jaji the infantry corps, headquarters in the infantry corps here in Jaji. Like we said earlier, we'll be having the Chief of Army Staff Conference, we'll be having the Infantry Conference, and most especially the commissioning of some major projects here in Jaji.
We are top officials, we'll be meeting. I think it's a week loaded with a lot of activities.
I will promise to bring them to you
by
on our next episode. All right, we must leave for other programs to continue. I remain yours and only, Ernest Enuneku.
And I, Shirley Daniel.
Bye-bye.
Bye for now.